morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter in class 12, chemical kinetics. First of all, we must know why we are going to study this chapter, chemical kinetics. For a chemical reaction, a chemist always try to find out three things: whether the reaction is feasible or not. Feasibility means if the reaction is possible at a particular temperature or pressure or not. It can be found out by chemical thermodynamics. How? If the value of delta G is less than 0, or we can say if delta G is negative for a particular reaction, then the reaction is spontaneous and it is feasible. If it is greater than 0, then the reaction is non-spontaneous and the reaction is not feasible. Second thing, a chemist try to find out at what extent reactants are converted into products in a particular chemical reaction, or this can be found out by chemical equilibrium. Before attaining the equilibrium, how much amount of reactant converts into product, that we can find out by chemical equilibrium. These two things or these two topics we have finished in class 11th. Next thing is important. Suppose any reaction is feasible, it is spontaneous and it proceeds in the forward direction at a larger extent, or we can say most of the reactants converts into product before attaining the equilibrium. But if the reaction is taking a very long time, suppose a reaction occurs, we take an example, graphite converts into diamond, suppose this is a reaction. But if we observe graphite or we observe diamond, we do not find the graphite is converting into diamond, because the reaction takes a very long time. Suppose a reaction takes 50 years to complete, then it is not applicable to us. We cannot apply this type of reaction into any industrial applications because the time taken by the reaction is very low. Why very low? Because the reaction proceeds in a very slow manner. So, or we can say the rate of the reaction is very low. So if any reaction is feasible, it proceeds to a very larger extent, but the reaction is very slow, then it is not having any kind of importance to us. So in chemical kinetics, we try to find out how the reaction move, or we can say how, at what rate the reaction proceeds from reactants to products. When the reactants are converting into products, what changes? The concentration of the reactants and products changes. Slowly what happens? The concentration of reactants decreases and concentration of the products increases. So when we are discussing the rate of a reaction or speed of a reaction, it is very important to us to find out the rate of a particular reaction. How can we find out the rate of a reaction? Example, suppose a reactant converts into product. This is a reaction for us. Initially, at time t1, or we can say in starting, when we start observing the reaction, at time t1, the concentration of the reactant is R1 and concentration of the product is P1. After some time or after a few seconds, at time t2, the concentration of the reactants changes to R2 and concentration of the products changes to P2. To show the concentration, we always use bigger bracket to show the concentration. So this is the initial concentration and this one is final concentration of the reactants, and this is the initial and final concentration of the products. So how the concentration is changing? If we find out what is the change in concentration, change in concentration of reactants What is final concentration? Final concentration is R2. And what is initial concentration? So whenever we are finding the change in concentration, we always take final minus initial. So final concentration minus initial concentration. So this is the change in concentration. If we find out at what rate the reactants, the concentration of the reactant is decreasing, or at what rate the reactants are disappearing, then what we have to do? To find out the rate, we have to consider the time period also. So if we find out the rate of disappearance, the rate of consumption, the rate of disappearance of reactant, if we find out, we have to divide it by time interval 2. So we can take final time minus initial time, T2 minus T1. It can be written as delta R. Delta we use to show the change in anything. So the change in concentration of the reactant can be shown by delta R. And the change in time period, it can be shown by delta T. So delta R upon delta T, this is the rate of disappearance of the reactant. One thing we should consider, when the concentration of the reactant is decreasing, R2 is always lesser than R1. So whenever we are subtracting R2 minus R1, this value we get always in negative sign. To make it positive, we multiply this by minus 1, or we can say by minus, because rate of the reaction can't be in negative value. So we just multiply it. To make it positive, we multiply it by minus. If we find it in the terms of products appearing, or products are formed, so what is the rate of appearance of products? How do we find out? In the same manner, change in concentration of the product divided by the time interval. So final concentration of the product is P2, initial concentration is P1, final minus initial, divided by T2 minus T1. It can be written as delta P upon delta T. Here we have no need to put minus sign, because P2 is always greater than P1, so already we are getting the value in positive. Okay. So combinedly, if we want to write it, we can write down a rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is equal to the rate of disappearance of the reactants minus delta R upon delta T, or delta P upon delta T. It is the appearance of the reactants, products. This rate, in this rate, we are considering, what we are considering? We are considering only the initial concentration and the final concentration. So if we are calculating like this, it is considered as average rate of reaction. Why it is average? Because we are not considering meanwhile how the concentration is changing. We are just taking initial and final concentration for a particular time period. If suppose a reaction proceeds for 5 minutes and we want to find out after 2 minutes or after 1 minute what would be the rate of reaction, or we can say this rate of reaction at a particular moment, if we want to find out, the rate of reaction is considered as or written as instantaneous rate of reaction. Instantaneous rate of reaction means instead of a bigger time interval, we take a very small time interval. We can say delta T tends to 0. Then it can be written as dr upon dt, or dP upon dt. So this instantaneous rate of reaction, the rate of reaction of any reaction at a particular moment, it is instantaneous rate of reaction. If for a longer period of time we are considering, then it is known as average rate of reaction. Now the unit of the rate of reaction. We must consider the unit of rate of reaction. What should be the unit? Unit is what we are taking, rate of reaction. We are taking change in concentration of reactants or products divided by time interval. So change in concentration means we would take the unit of concentration, and unit of concentration we generally take in molarity, mole per liter. Mole per liter is the unit of concentration divided by time interval. Unit of time is second. So the unit of rate of reaction would be mole per liter per second. So rate of reaction is expressed in the unit mole per liter per second. If we want to express this graphically, if we want to express this in graphical form, how do we express it? On x-axis we take time, on y-axis we take concentration. First we are expressing in the term of concentration of reactants. So initially the whole amount is present in the form of reactants only. There are no products. So we can say when the reaction starts, at that time the concentration of the reactant is maximum. Slowly when the reaction proceeds with time, then what happens? The concentration of the reactants decreases, and at last it becomes horizontal or parallel to the x-axis. It means the equilibrium is attained. So there would be no considerable change in the concentration of the reactants. For this reaction, for this graph, if we take 2 points on the graph paper, this is the initial concentration at time t1. This one is the final concentration. Suppose we are observing for this time interval t1 to t2. So from here we can write down this delta R upon delta T. It would be average rate of reaction. For this reaction, if we want to find out the instantaneous rate of reaction, then what we have to do? We have to take any point. Suppose at time t2 we want to find out what is the rate of reaction. For that we have to draw a tangent at this point, and the slope of this tangent, is considered as instantaneous rate of reaction. We can write down minus dr upon dt. So instead, how can we find out instantaneous rate of reaction? At any point where we want to find out the rate of reaction, we have to draw a tangent, and the slope of that tangent, that slope is the instantaneous rate of reaction. The same graph if we want to draw for the concentration of the products, what happens? On x-axis time, on y-axis we would take concentration. If we are going to find out it for the products, initially the concentration of the product is 0, because when the reaction starts there are no products. Products are not formed. When the reaction proceeds, slowly the products are formed. So initially the concentration of the products is 0, and slowly it is increasing, and after a particular time, what happens? The concentration does not show any considerable change, or we can say at that time the reaction attains the equilibrium. And in the same way, suppose this is initial concentration P1, this is the final concentration P2, concentration P1 is at time T1 and this one is for time T2. If we want to find out average rate of reaction, how do we find out? P2 minus P1 divided by T2 minus T1, or we can say delta P upon delta T, or we can say P2 minus P1 upon T2 minus T1. For instantaneous rate, in the same way, we have to draw a tangent and we would find out the slope. It would be instantaneous rate and it would be equal to dP upon dt. So in this way, graphically we can represent the rate of reaction, or the concentration versus time graph can be drawn for the reactants and the products. We try to write the rate of reaction for different equations. For example, one reaction is Hg solid plus Cl2 gas is equal to HgCl2 or solid. For this reaction, if you want to write down the rate of reaction, so the rate of reactions can be written in the terms of any of the reactant or any of the product. For example, if you want to write down the rate of reaction in the terms of concentration of mercury, so we have to write down change in concentration of mercury divided by time t. As it is reactant, its concentration is decreasing, so to make it positive we have to multiply it by -1. Same rate of reaction can be written in the terms of concentration of Cl2. Change in concentration of Cl2 divided by time t. It is also reactant, so we have to multiply it by -1. For the products, their change in concentration of product divided by time. So in this way, we can express the rate of reaction. One more thing, if the reaction is a gaseous reaction, for a gaseous reaction, if the reaction is gaseous, for example, N2 plus 3H2 2NH3, products and reactants both are in gaseous form. At that time, what we have to do, instead of change in concentration, we consider partial pressure of the gas. So when we are considering partial pressure, we can write down the equation as, or we can say, we can write it down as partial pressure of nitrogen gas, change in partial pressure of hydrogen gas, or change in partial pressure of nitrogen gas divided by ammonia gas divided by. Here what we have to consider, first thing, the unit of, what would be the unit of rate of reaction if the reactants and products are in gaseous form. In such situation, we just take the unit of pressure. Unit of pressure is atmosphere and unit of time is second. So we can say atmosphere per second would be the unit of rate of reaction. So the rate of reaction is having two units. One is mole per liter per second when the reactants are products are in the terms of solids and liquids. If the reactant and products are in the form of a gas, at that time rate of reaction, the unit of rate of reaction would be atmospheric per second. One more thing we have to consider. in such situation, if there is any coefficient written with any reactant or product, what we have to do? This 3 can be written as 1 by 3 and 2 can be written as 1 by 2. Why? Because the rate of disappearance of hydrogen would be 1/3 of the rate of rate of disappearance of nitrogen. So, if any coefficient is given, that coefficient is written like this. One more reaction we can take: Hi, 2Hi, H2 plus I2. It is in gaseous form, it is in gaseous form. If we want to write down the rate of reaction for this, we can write down minus delta Hi divided by delta T. What we have to do? We have to multiply it by 1 by 2. Rate of reaction in the terms of concentration of hydrogen, we can write down like this. In the terms of iodine, concentration of iodine, we can write. So for any reaction, if any coefficient is given with any reactant or product, that is written in as the denominator. Okay. So in this way we have learned about the rate of reaction. Once we should recapitulate. What is the importance of chemical kinetics and what is the need of study of chemical kinetics? What is rate of reaction? How can we express rate of reaction and units of rate of reaction? And for a reaction, how to write rate of reaction rate expression for a reaction. In next video, we would find out the factors affecting rate of reaction. Thank you very much. Keep watching. Thanks a lot.